It's a new challenge. This time it's more than just survival. The premise is to go into nature and collect enough wild edibles as well as fish and game to come out heavier and healthier than going in. To win is simple: don't lose body weight. Other survival challenges aim low. Their only goal is to run down the clock before escaping back into civilization. The Wilderness Living Challenge, however, is a true test of a woodsman's knowledge, their endurance and willpower, the ability to not only survive in nature but to thrive indefinitely. It's more than just avoiding death. The Wilderness Living Challenge is about coming out of nature stronger than going in. The rules of the challenge are simple: no active harvesting from a motor vehicle, use any legal means of harvest including all tools, traps, and techniques available, while obeying local game and fish laws, to exploit a diverse and complete diet without any fakery or drama, to fight for sustenance head-to-head against the wilderness, man versus nature, and the most primal of contests. The Wilderness Living Challenge throws modern man back into nature to see if he can still make a living from it and get ahead of calories burned. The challenge is a test of the techniques of wilderness living, as well as the ability to identify, harvest, prepare, consume, store, and preserve foods obtained from the wild. Importantly, the Wilderness Living Challenge uses an objective measure, body mass, to decide if the contestants have won. In the Wilderness Living Challenge, it is the scale that crowns the winner. How well will the contestants fare in their fight? Can nature be conquered? Can hunger be tamed? Can the men come out heavier than when they set out, or will the forces of nature defeat them? This is the Wilderness Living Challenge.
Oh no! Oh. Wild edible number one. Here's the start of our daily caloric intake. Some raspberries. You want one?
Okay.
We're sharing these out.
We should share.
No, we'll just eat them both.
So where are we?
Somewhere in the bush.
Yeah. Road unnamed, headed toward
Secret lake.
lake unnamed. we got so many secret lakes. Hey,
That was great.
that was great.
Was kind of snooping around, and we found this old bottle of Jose Cuerva. Now it's been here long enough that the label's worn off.
And the tradition is to take a swig?
Yeah.
No, no way.
I'm a little bit hungry. You?
I'm a little bit hungry. Got magic hour. What do you got on there?
Red Devil.
Red Devil.
If we don't catch something in the first 3.5 minutes, maybe we'll switch it up. How long have we been out?
I don't know, 20 minutes?
Yeah, more than 3.5.
I got a sleeper on here. It's not doing anything yet, which is kind of scaring me.
Maybe we're just taking a film of you catching a stick.
No, there's a fish there. It's a little pike. Little pike.
Ba-dum.
We're gonna eat it too because it's survival.
Oh, that was real hard to get the hook out, eh?
Yeah, that's how you like it with a pike.
You just planned it that way, didn't you?
That's right.
Oh no, keep him in the boat. Well, we won't survive.
Oh, blood everywhere.
Oh man. Oh, should we try for one more? I don't know. For one meal, that should be. We'll fish our way back. Start on the big one because it's easier to see all the technique.
Yeah, for sure.
Follow the backbone to the tail, like a bass. Cut here.
Variety of different ways of getting the Y bone out, but I don't fish pike or clean pike enough to know how to do it. I would probably just cook the whole thing and then pick the Y bones out of my mouth.
So this is the 4th boneless fillet, or hopefully.
So while we do that, we'll throw that in the stew pot, or?
Yeah.
And then the gut pile we're going to use to attract bears.
Yeah, so we can eat a bear.
We can eat a bear, yep. That is the bones right here of the pike, and that'll end up, we're going to boil that down a bit tonight and make broth after we've cooked our main fish. It's a good fire, it's got some heat.
It does.
Boiled fish, no spice.
Yeah, this is a first for me.
I think it's the first for me too. How does that look? Fish soup, 0 spice. No salt, no pepper, nothing. Flavor of the fish wasn't spectacular. It's kind of hard for me to eat all of it. It was a fair amount. It was enough to fill me up. And we do have some flavors here, but we'll try to flavor the meat better next time.
See if we catch some more crayfish. Might be in trouble here.
Well, you can let him some slack and maybe he'll pop out. Reel up now.
Maybe it's not a very big one, just a little one who's doing figure eights. Oh, I can see my leader though, so that's good. There he is. There he is. Not big.
Not big enough. You got the net. Oh, shoot. The net's right there.
Breakfast.
Yeah, that was breakfast.
Yeah.
Hunger pains. Touch all your hooks up when you're fishing for food.
Breakfast.
Are you happy now?
Yeah. Now we have enough for breakfast.
Well,
but
we could use one more.
I think it's lunchtime though, so we better catch a few more on our way.
Yeah. Sherby's on a roll now.
Yeah.
We had a fairly productive morning. We had lots of follows and misses, so we ended up with 4. I got the 2 small ones, Jared got the 2 bigger ones, but they're not that big. They're not that big. But I'm starving. I don't know, are you starving?
No.
I was hungry in the middle of the night, so I guess my metabolism's a little faster. What's the reference say about water lily?
So they say that all parts of the plant are edible, but the unopened flower buds are ones that you can cook as a vegetable, and that's what we're gonna try. I haven't eaten them like that before. They smell good. Flower smells good.
It smells great.
Yeah. So the petals are supposed to be edible, and it said the leaves. I don't know if, but the trouble with a lot of wild food books is then they'll say you can eat this and that, but they don't tell you what time of the season it has to be collected or how to cook it. So maybe the leaves are better in the spring when they're fresh, or maybe they're okay to eat now. But duck potato.
Duck potato. So it's got it looks pretty much like an arrowhead. Apparently it's supposed to have a tuber. However, what we've found is, I suppose that's a tuber, but it's pretty tough, and I don't think it's terribly edible.
So
your
that
opinion on that?
If we're going to be nerdy, it's technically a rhizome. It's an underground stem, and it should have on the side of it the tubers or the corms, which would be full of starch. They're like a potato, but I think it's too early in the season. So apparently that part's also edible.
I think I found a potato.
Did you? Oh, nice. Yeah, that's probably the start.
A little potato. We got some sweet gale here that we collected from the edge of the lake. It smells really good, so we're gonna put it in our good cuts of pike down here, and hopefully that's gonna make it taste better. Our berries in this area are pretty slim pickings. We got a wintergreen berry and blueberry. That's it. Let's split these.
Sure. You cut them in half, or you want to just pick red or blue?
Very good blueberry. I told Jeremy this trip didn't really have any rules, and you could pretty much do whatever you want as long as you didn't ruin the trip for yourself. Like, get too hungry, so bring enough food that would satiate you, even if we didn't do well. And it turns out there's a couple other things that Jeremy added. So, in interest of being forthright and honest about the survival, the wilderness living challenge, it's going to be full disclosure. So if we do end up eating anything, which as of now we haven't, right?
No.
We've not cheated. We have only eaten the fish from last night, and that's it. No breakfast, and we're on about noon now, so I'm definitely hungry. But Jeremy, so I'm going to flip it over. Jeremy's going to talk about his cheats. He's going to cheat from taking from modern civilization.
Yeah, I brought instant coffee. I wasn't sure that I was going to have some, but I've got a bit of a headache starting, and I think it's because I didn't have a coffee today. So
instead of having, you know, like a wintergreen tea or cedar or pine, he's going with modern coffee from all the way around the world.
And I have gotten in the habit of using, are we branding some of this stuff? I guess the coffee's in there, right?
Oh, whatever.
This electrolyte drink mix, I just find you add a squirt in the water bottle, you get a little bit of potassium, a little bit of sodium, and a little bit of flavor, but it just makes water a lot more drinkable.
And for the record, there's no calories in any of that.
A couple of pike fillets, so we left the skin on, and we're going to try and just cook them on the grill rather than boil them, just to see if maybe they taste better with a little bit of wood smoke. So we'll just put them on there.
So that flour was bitter, the clove flour. Ugh.
There's all the fiber from chewing on that root.
Nice.
If it's bitter, change the water and then just bring it to a boil again.
Here's the, you're calling this the rhizome of the duck?
Yep.
duckweed. It's not bad. A flower petal. What's it taste like?
Nothing really.
The rhizome tastes like nothing. I bet you feel like putting some salt on that.
Butter.
Butter. Yeah. Well, that looks better than our mash. Here they go underneath.
Yep.
That junk.
Edible, but not very palatable. Edible, but far from incredible.
That's right. So, to improve that, you'd need some butter. So, what's the final verdict? The coffee's great.
Well, coffee's alright. It's just instant coffee in a pot. Actually, I made too much coffee.
What about the fish?
Fish? I don't know. I'm kind of split between the boiled and the roasted.
Yeah, I don't mind.
Yeah.
I do the roasted.
Yeah.
I think the roasted because you're going to get more fat off the skin too. Because the skin, once you cut it off, it doesn't end up in the soup. But of course, we have still the whole stew left.
Put a little bit of salted butter on there.
Now you're dreaming.
So basically said it feels pretty good right now while we're eating as much pike as we can eat. And we haven't really hit a huge abundance of pike compared to some pike fishing that we've experienced in the past, but we're not hungry right now. We've had 2 full meals of pike.
Yeah, just pike, because all the other sources didn't turn out.
Yeah, and Chris was saying it would be nice to have at least a second source of a staple. And I said one of the things that'll be reinforced for us on this trip, I think, is the seasonality of foods. So I think we probably missed most of the blueberry crop. And the thing is, if you want to eat blueberries, then in the week or two that they're ripe, you need to really focus on putting them aside. And then you can eat them all year, whether you've dried them or stored them in fat or frozen them. And probably the same, we tried picking the duck potato, but there'll be like a period in the fall where they'll just be perfect. The water won't be too cold for you to get in and get them, but they'll have put all their energy down into those bulbs or those tubers or roots or potatoes. And that's when you would collect a huge abundance of them, and people dry roasted them or ground them into flour and so on, right? And then you have it all year. Wild rice. It would be amazing to find wild rice, and then but you spend a week collecting it, winnowing it, dry roasting it, and then or parching it, and then you've got wild rice for the year. So to just go out and eat in abundance, you can eat in abundance, but maybe not in diversity.
Another little guy, back at it. Second bite, so that's good. Another little one of the same size. We're not getting anything that's got any size to it.
There's lots of Labrador tea here if we want to make some tea after.
Grab some in your pocket.
Yeah, it's not one that I've eaten. We were just reading about it. So apparently the mature flower heads with the seeds in them you can eat the seeds. I think we're too early to find seeds. Oh, my hand smells like a pike. So apparently the green's edible when they're young, so we're just grabbing some of the younger looking ones and we'll give it a little taste test. So just enough to try out.
The old leaves would probably be woody.
Yeah, it'd be really fibrous, right?
Probably something you could saute though, even like the medium leaves. With some butter.
Salty butter?
Yeah. theme of the adventure is bring butter.
Yeah. These are really they're really fibrous.
Yeah, it looks a little bit too much.
But we'll try see if
saute or steam.
See if they cook like spinach.
Break them down a bit. What'd you find there, Jarrett?
So this is the yellow pond lily. So again, it's got the very rounded lobes on the leaf. So it's So this is the rhizome. It's like an underground stem, and the leaves come out of the rhizome. And these are all scars from previous year's leaves. So you can kind of date the age of the rhizome. And off the rhizome we have the roots, so that's what would have anchored it to the bottom. And this one was floating because it's been dislodged by something that was eating it, I guess. Maybe a moose kicked it up, maybe a beaver dug it out, or a muskrat. And I'm pulling off the roots because I don't think that we need or want them. I think it's full of starches. We might even just be able to wash starches out of it. A little experiment anyway.
It's kind of funny, you just came around the corner and I smelled something fruit-like, and I didn't say anything because that sounds stupid. Why would I smell fruit or berry or whatever? And then Jared's like, do you smell? I'm like, yeah, I do smell. So I don't know, maybe there's some kind of fruit-bearing tree around here somewhere. Cattails finally. Gray jay.
Oh, that's what was calling. Nice. Oh, there's another one back in that same tree.
Oh, there's one there.
Yeah, there's still one perched on the branch. I think lots of them are going to be too mature to harvest.
Probably.
So the big ones don't want to pull out, but all the small ones are coming out okay.
Mm.
And then
we want to keep just the white parts with the pot.
Okay. Oh, that one's a bit hard.
Ouch. Bugs.
Yeah, they are really nasty, aren't they? These are the flower clusters, which when they were a flower, you can, when they're flower buds, you can eat them. And in this stage, where the flower has been pollinated and then is closed, you can just cook these whole. I was picking the smaller ones, just because I think they're less mature. You can see the latex on them. So I think if you have a latex allergy, it's something to stay away from. It boils out when you cook them.
Can pick some of the meat out of there maybe.
Yeah.
Otherwise we don't have much substance, I guess.
It's a lot of vegetables.
Yeah, maybe not all of them. Enough for one load each.
Okay.
To save some for tomorrow.
So we're going to boil up these milkweed. When you read the literature, lots of people recommend boiling them a few times to remove alkaloids and bitterness. I've never boiled more than twice, and a lot of the time I've only boiled once, and I've found them to be very palatable. And I did read somebody's theory that in some areas, different varieties have more or less toxin in them or bitterness that you need to boil out. So we'll give it a boil, and then we'll do a taste test. And after that, if it needs another boil, we'll do another boil.
Those white bits there.
That's the pond lily root, which smells super fruity. It smells like the flowers of the white pond lily. This is the root of the rhizome of the yellow pond lily, and it smells super, but it tastes awful.
You tried to taste it already?
Yeah, it's pretty gross. So I'm just trying what they say, which is that you roast it. We'll see.
Yep. That's supposed to be all starch, right?
In the root?
Yep.
Yeah, it should be pretty starchy. Here's some boiled milkweed. Here, I'll hold the camera, you smell. Smells like vegetables, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
it does smell. It smells like something green.
Yeah.
It smells like a green vegetable.
These stormflies keep biting, eh?
They do.
You want one in your veggies?
Thank you. Gonna be hard on the inside.
This is so good. You want your dirty old pike spoon in there?
Well, I'm too lazy to clean it, so.
We did get a lot of sun today. We walked a lot of miles, canoed a lot of miles. We even walked a lot of kilometers. Even more kilometers than miles.
Yeah.
You're gonna like this. How awesome is that?
It's pretty good. It's like a green bean. It's got a little bit of.
It's got that sweetness.
It's got a green bean sweetness, but it's got a little bit of bitterness also, like near the end. It's not overwhelming.
I don't know that anybody's eaten this and liked it. You just find it perpetrated in the literature, right?
Yeah, it's in every book.
Yeah. But then if you talk to anybody who's tried it, they've dismissed it immediately. But I don't know if they've been persistent about trying different methods or... So this is the roasted, mostly dried out root. And it's still got that acridity to it. I realized what it reminds me of, which is elderflowers. It has the same smell as elderflowers.
I feel like I could eat it. Like it's in my mouth now, but I feel like it's more tolerable, but it's still really extremely strong.
Yeah, and you didn't take a big bite, you just took a nibble.
Yeah.
Like, you can't survive on nibbles of...
I wish I could eat it because it's so much sugar in bulk, right? So get the theme that Jeremy's liking to test and not just eat things because they're edible, but eat things because they taste good. And if you can't make them taste good, then there's not much point in eating them. Just got our pickerel weed, which kind of get tossed aside, but we'll throw that on and just boil it a little bit and see if we can soften it up. But it's pretty woody, so it might not work.
Well, there's meat here.
Is he getting a bit of meat off it?
But it's all Y bones.
Yeah, that's the broth.
What's the broth look like? What are you gonna do, drink the liquid? I think so.
Let's see.
Just pour it into a bowl or a plate and
I
then...
can show that. We boiled down pretty much all the remains from the last day and a half of pike. So it's pretty much rendered the fat down there.
You want to pour it through a sock so we don't get any Y bones?
Yeah.
It's a lot of soup. Not boiling yet. It does look like a lot of leftover meat after, right? But it's like you just can't eat it easily. It's all bones.
The bear rises.
The bear wakes from its slumber. Is it spring yet?
Yes, everything's in bloom.
Oh, good.
Everything's in season.
I've been dreaming about food.
Oh, dude, you were moaning last night.
Oh, yeah.
Did you know?
I didn't feel that great.
No way. Like you were like, it was like pain moan.
Oh,
like
yeah.
You were sleeping.
Like poor breathing.
Well, I couldn't tell if it was like snoring or not.
It's kind of a mix.
Yeah, it was half snoring and then half like, oh.
Yeah. I shouldn't have eaten so much soup broth.
Yeah, that pike.
I had to run up and pee like 3 times in the night.
Really?
Yeah.
I actually felt full for most of the night.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I don't feel too bad now. I think that the milkweed
Was filling?
Yeah, well, I think it offered a lot of calories too, right?
Yeah.
It's all the seed in there. Plus all the fat from the fish.
Yeah. I'm not hungry right now.
No, I'm okay. And still our 3 friends. That's it, 3 crayfish. see in that water there's that green scummy stuff there, and the visibility's really poor in this lake. Like, you can't see down a foot, which makes the fishing pretty challenging too. Our other trap down here, that one's got nothing in it. Nominal. Nothing.
Yeah, see all that weird.
Yeah.
You can see it in the water.
Yeah,
I'm sure that shows up on camera.
I was looking at that. See all that green, scummy stuff. Some kind of algae bloom. I don't know too much about algae blooms, do you?
Just that they happen and they'll use up all the oxygen in the water, and if it's blue-green algae, then they'll also produce microcystin, which is a toxin, right? So you don't want to, well, they always have, they post warnings on beaches and things, you shouldn't drink the water if there's microcystin in it.
What about the fish?
I don't know if the fish suffer from it so much. Apparently dogs have died from drinking water with microcystin in it, but I don't know that much about it.
So how concerned are we about that?
A little bit.
Yeah.
It's kind of gross, actually. Like, it's just kind of gross that you can't see in the water, and there's always like scummy algae floating around.
So we just had a pretty lengthy chat. Actually, it wasn't very lengthy at all, because we met consensus almost right away that we're gonna move, and that's gonna require us to pull everything down. So we figure about an hour to do that, an hour to paddle out, and then we're relocating. The resources we expected here, I mean, they pretty much are what we expected. However, the lake, there's some concern with the toxicity of the lake. It's not a major concern. Maybe we could probably just deal with it. But we have limited time to do the experiment, and it's something we might not repeat for a while. So we want to be able to do it to the best of our abilities. And also, I mean, eating milkweed from a rail bed isn't necessarily something you want to do a lot. It does have toxins from how the rail system works. So there's that. There's also the fact that there really aren't that many berries. We were counting a little bit on the cattail, but that's not panning out either. So it's not really a cop-out, and part of the challenge I had in my mind was that we'd be able to move around if we wanted to, because of the fact that it's difficult to get all the nutrients we need from nature. It's not something that just happen. It's something that, you know, you need to move around and need to be mobile, and because the abundance of nutrients isn't concentrated in certain areas, like going back to that argument about how cities were built in areas that had abundance, and those cities grew because, you know, people had families and they could feed their families. Well, all these remote areas that we're talking about now, they don't have as many nutrients, and so people didn't build cities because they couldn't raise families. So we're kind of left up in a broken system as far as living in the wilderness goes. So all the areas don't have everything. It may come to be that we are more educated about the things that we need moving forward, and other challenges, if we decide to do another one, where we're a lot more selective about the timing of the challenge and the location of the challenge, and then itemizing all the nutritional elements that we need, you know, the protein, the fat, the carbohydrates, you know, the berries, etc., and have that well balanced item list. But we have it sort of set out before we head into one location. This was, you know, it's our first trial, and we had some expectations, and Jeremy kind of was the person who decided on this lake, and Not to say, you know, it could have been fine. Maybe it was a lot more productive had there not been the algae, or maybe it just is a typical lake. But as far as pike goes, this isn't a lake that I find to be typical of my experience with pike. Catching little, you know, pike is normal, but only catching little pike like that is a little bit out of the ordinary. And then not having any minnows, having the traps out and stuff like that, and just a couple of crayfish is it's pretty bizarre to me. So there's definitely something going on here, but we're not making excuses. It's just I'm explaining things because I want to be upfront. If we show up on camera in a brand new location and it's a lot better than this location, that's the reason why. So in the interest of being forthright and honest about what's happening with this challenge, I thought I would disclose that. So we're gonna be hustling pretty good. Jeremy's gonna have a coffee, and we're gonna pack up real quick, load out, and get to a new spot. This spot has a promise of having more berries, at least, and hopefully some fish. It's gonna be another pike lake, I think, and there are gonna be some other lakes in the near vicinity. So, but it is a fair distance away, so I'm just mentioning that because we could have gone to this location on the outset, or we could just sit here and starve it out and go another 2 days without, I should say that it's probably going to set us back in the long run, because by the time we start getting active about catching anything, it's going to be past noon and set up, and so in the long run, it's actually going to be, it's a little bit of a gamble and a little bit of a risk and a little bit of a setback, because like I said, we could be fishing right now and catching fish, and we could probably outlast the next 2.5 days, no problem. But yeah, we're gonna move around, and hopefully that improves our situation.
Yeah, I don't know.
Could you do it?
Hey?
So can't chew it?
No.
It's the lily root.
Yeah, lily root chips. I'm gonna try air drying it and then bring it up to a boil.
Seems a little bit better. I don't know. At this point, I could probably eat it.
Is it good for you to eat it? If it's that bitter that you're just kind of choking it down, it might not be good for you. I wonder what the muskrats do with it.
They've got some hidden technique.
Yeah.
Maybe. I might.
First, I'll try for a sip.
I'll try a sip and see how it goes. Oh, yeah, okay, that's gross.
Top up this blue pot.
Yeah, top up the blue pot. Maybe a little bit of protein will fall in there.
That should be enough to boil those 3 in.
Okay. What does that look like now?
It just looks like fish broth.
Fish broth. So, breakfast of champions.
Did you hear the Queen song playing in your head?
What's the Queen song?
We are the champions.
Are we? Are we winning?
We are the champions. Of course not.
They're actually pretty good, but it's like eating vegetables for breakfast.
Did we lose our boil? Nope. Oh, see them turn red?
Yep.
It's pretty quick, eh? Shrimp. Boop! Look at that. There's the empty shell. There's the crayfish meat. We need like tiny little forks and melted butter, right? We're gonna have to fight over the third one. That's good.
I'm emaciated.
Yeah, so I'll win the fight, is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
that's right.
Or you need it worse.
Well, yeah, you could use ethics or natural selection.
Yeah, alright. We'll see.
2-day-old fish broth.
Thrice heated.
Yeah, heated 3 times.
Or more, 4 maybe, at this point.
So it's still, I don't know if you like fish soup, but I guess it would be good enough for consumption, but I'm not a big fan of fish soup, so I feel like I want some noodles or some bulk in there. My stomach's just rejecting it already.
Oh yeah, it doesn't want it.
I've already had a couple sips of it, and actually the first sip kind of tasted alright. It was nice and warm, so maybe that's the just warm fluid.
Yeah, maybe we should have just warmed up some water.
Yeah, probably.
Hot drink.
Alright. That's okay again. We're off to new lands now with more promise.
Goodbye, Tequila Point.
Tequila Point is in the background as we speak. See if we can come up with some better land. It's gonna be lunch.
Yeah.
Nice.
Berries and pike.
Yeah. So we'll clean that one up on the way out.
Yeah.
Good job. For me, I'm gonna claim that one because I only got small ones. That's the first decent sized one I got, so I'm claiming it.
Okay. This goes on top, right?
This is all calories burned every time we do this. They got their seed pod for duck potato.
Yeah. Smells like pike.
Everything smells like pike.
Nope. Pleasant at first and then not afterwards. It's kind of like eating spruce needles.
Yeah. But as we get up, it gets a little bit shallower because the beaver's a little bit lazy here. It's not running as fast. So.
Yeah, we've got a lift right at the corner here. You should hop in there while the nose is in.
Sure.
And then I'll just push it.
I'll see that over. It's not all just straight go. And I'm hungry. Starving. Touch me nots here, and we have the flour, which is pretty good actually. Jeremy always recommends you check for a bug. They got a little bit of sweetness to them. It's quite a bit, but not enough to fill your stomach.
Pike, a really feisty pike. It leapt out of the water when I first hooked it, eh?
Yeah. Oh, that's not a bad pike.
No, that's not bad. Oh, they're feistier than the other lake.
They are. Nice job. Maybe we can get one more.
Yeah, you want to cast while I deal with this guy?
Oh. That's 2 hits in 2 seconds, dude.
Yeah.
Like, we might be good here.
Maybe.
For a little bit.
Oh.
Got it.
Alright.
Oh, it's not a big one at all. They fight better in this lake, that's for sure.
Yeah. So we've caught 2 on just this tiny little lake, and we missed 2 already, and we've only been here for 20 minutes, eh?
Yeah.
So we're gonna try. We'll spend a little bit of time here because we'd be pretty happy to take 5 pike with us, right?
I think we should have just stayed here the whole time.
Maybe.
Wait, what are you saying?
I said I never had that happen before. That's a first.
Look at the mess of lines. We tangled our lines together.
We got a double header.
Yeah, double header in the net.
And then
Lines tangled up because we had to cross lines to reel in. But hey, that's 2 pike in the boat.
Yep.
Awesome.
That's funny.
What are we up to? 4?
Here?
I
Yeah.
have 1 up front. You have 2 out back.
And a perch.
And a perch.
And a perch that we let go because it was small.
So we made a wise decision just to come back even to this lake. Surprisingly, that's about average.
Yeah.
I missed the bite too on the same path. So all we're doing is going the mouth of the river there, and we're getting a good strike each time. Okay. Pike again. Cheers, the pike.
Cheers.
Watch Jeremy pick. I'll talk about choke cherries. they go.
Sounds fair.
That sounds fair. They go quick. You can pick a heck of a lot of them in a short amount of time, but they have pits in them. And the pits you are not supposed to consume because they have a cyanide forming compound. So it's not advisable that you mash them all up. So the trick with them is to spit them out, which means that you can't consume the entire berry. So that's the drawback. Of course, the benefit, as you'll see, this picking goes really fast because they have gigantic bunches. And the more delectable treat, of course, is the blueberries. Eat berries all day?
Yeah, we don't even have to go fishing.
How many pounds of blueberries you go to eat?
I'd try and eat 16 pounds.
Would you? As an experiment?
Yeah. Why not? I don't know if I can quite pick that many in a day. Getting hungry.
I don't know how you're not hungry.
But I think we probably definitely want to get all that fish cooked up too, right?
Yeah, we got to preserve the fish or it's gonna go bad.
I'll preserve my half of it in my belly.
We gotta cook these or they're gonna go rotten by tomorrow. And we'll have to cook them again tomorrow morning. We've kind of mastered this cooking technique though. We have to try it on some other fish species like perch and walleye, and we've already tried it with trout. It worked. There I am. Very eerie. Okay, so we got a hand of choke cherries and we're sitting by the fire. And take the choke cherries and pop them in your mouth. And mash them around kind of with your teeth a little bit. On your tongue a little bit. And got a little bit of a paste. And then work the seeds out and split the seeds out. I'm going insane, man.
Got one?
Oh, doesn't that look delicious? Spoils for tomorrow. It's almost like we're getting ahead of the competition. If only we can convert these back into our muscle tissue and fat reserves, we have a shot of winning the Wilderness Living Challenge. And then do the old dairy face. We have milkweed for breakfast, which we'll eat, and we will have also choke cherries. That will be roughly a complete breakfast. Because Jeremy's pretty sure. You're sure there's carbs in the milkweed, Jer?
I think there's some, yeah.
Yeah, there's protein in there, right?
Well, sugars are carbs, right?
Yep. And the choke cherries also have sugar. So we got protein, fat, carbohydrate, and definitely some nutrients in the berries. So all is well. That's it for today. We will see what tomorrow brings. For a pinch test, I do a pinch test. You can do a pinch test for fat. I have like barely any body fat. I didn't have much coming in, but now I'm on like emergency levels. Shoulder, nothing. You want to show off your fat reserves?
I did in the background there.
Did you a little bit?
Yep.
Yeah, Jared has some more, but he's been working on it for a while to lose it, just for aesthetic reasons. And probably health reasons too, right?
Doing what?
Health reasons? Losing fat?
Losing a bit of fat? Yeah. Yeah.
Aesthetics and health. But I did that with my fasting challenge not long ago. Not that I was high, but as a personal challenge I wanted to try it out. Although at this point in time I probably wish I shouldn't, or wish I hadn't. So we're packing up now. It shouldn't take us too long. We can get out here pretty quick. We did dishes last night and ate a pretty decent, what I thought was a pretty decent meal, but like I say, I'm still behind.
Yeah.
Only lasted partway through the night. By this morning it was raging again.
Lobster mushroom on the side of the trail here. So I was just looking to see what kind of shape it's in. It's kind of soft on the outside there, but it's good here. Probably just needs a little scrape.
It's got to have a little bit of open woods, which we haven't really had, that kind of terrain.
Yeah, and they like a little bit of damp too.
Yeah, it's definitely moist soil here. Just turn this log over to make us a table, and there's a bunch of worms under there, which are either food or bait. Probably bait.
Bait for food.
Yeah. And so far our carbohydrates haven't panned out, but hopefully we'll get ahead of that with the berries today. I'm planning on just sitting in the berry patch and eating all day long.
My other thought was when we catch some fish later,
Yeah.
If
we don't, we're gonna be hungry. Well, you think we got 3 meals left there, I think?
Yeah. I think so.
If it had a side of fries, it was 3 meals. By itself, it's probably...
I think we're ahead of the game right now.
Keep saying that, but he's lost 5 pounds. Need some butter?
Yeah.
Some salt?
Yep. I don't know if it's cooked all the way through. You want to try a little piece?
I wouldn't have a reference for it, but salt and butter, or salty butter,
Yeah.
always tastes better.
Lots of mushrooms have mild toxins that are removed by cooking. So there are very few that you would just eat raw.
So this is our stored pike, and we've got to keep it for today and tomorrow probably. At least a couple more meals. So instead of just keeping it in that pot, we're just adding a little bit of heat and a little bit of smoke just to get any of the bacteria that may be forming on the outside of it, because it's not cooked right through. It's definitely not preserved for long-term use, but it's preserved for, a couple day use. Choke cherries from our choke cherry stash, and flip this around. We are eating them while fishing, and I'll replace the calories I burn. I got a fish bite too. I might have a fish on there.
Yeah.
Oh, it's off. No, it's still there. No, it's off. I'm doing too much at once. Eating choke cherries, fishing.
And camera.
And the camera. That's three things. Alright, gotta go.
fish. Chris is still spitting seeds out while he's catching this fish.
Alright, got all the seeds out. Oh, one more seed left. You can't do it at the same time, you know. It's a lot of concentrating.
Yeah.
There we go.
Beauty.
More food.
No, it's a keeper.
Well, we were gonna let it go because it was almost too small to clean, but it's lost the gill plate.
Yeah.
Based on how it got hooked, so
We'll eat it.
I don't think the camera will see, but there are piles of clams in here.
5 minutes to pick up as many as we would want to eat.
Sure. For breakfast or something?
Yeah. It's loaded with them. Alright, so I was telling Woodbeard a little trick that I used to do as a kid when I'd run out of worms, which is just to use clam meat to catch perch and sunfish and little bass. Once you cut that muscle, the adductor muscle, then they're easier to open up. And inside the clam, there's some white little clammy meat. Cut a piece of that. And I'm just gonna bait a plain hook with it.
How long did that take?
2 minutes, including travel time. That was like a one cast catch.
So you say. They're still at our one medium fish and one small fish. And I've reached my limit as far as eating choke cherries. I can't eat anymore. My stomach won't take anymore. My mouth won't take anymore. So for anybody who thinks, oh, you could just eat choke cherries and they're easy to collect and eat, just put a pile full in your mouth and swallow or spit the seeds out. Yeah, it's not good. Oh, it's in the boat. Don't scare me. Never scare me. No, don't do that. So it's been raining all day since we stopped fishing. So we've been hunkered down. Oh, we wanted to go berry picking, but we can't go berry picking in this kind of weather. So just show you what we came up with, a little setup here. Made a fire pit just at the edge of the tarp. And Jared's tarp on the top and my tarp at the back is a reflector. Nice weather, 25, 30 degree weather, and that didn't happen, so gonna kind of make do. We're gonna make a little fire here and heat ourselves up and conserve our calories. So today's gonna be our leisure day, our rest day, but kind of forced into it. I'm gonna set this down here. I don't feel super duper hungry, which is good. Kind of feel like I'm getting used to the diet. I don't think I'm eating enough. I keep doing my pinch test. I definitely am at a caloric deficit still. Jeremy feels fine as per usual. He's not complaining about feeling hungry, but he's enjoying the time. He's having a good time. So he's just off trying to find some dry kindling. We'll get this little fire here and get heated up. And you got anything to add, Jer?
Just trying to keep warm. I'm getting a little bit chilled, so chop some firewood to keep warm, and then burn it to keep warm, and then see if the weather clears up.
They said 10 millimeters and we're way over that, 10 to 15, but
yeah.
Can't really predict these things.
We've had our most leisure time this afternoon.
That's right. We may be actually doing the right
5 hours.
The right thing. It's just sitting around doing nothing.
Just these wild raisins, like some of them have matured prematurely, so there's not, oops, still green on one side, but this one's, that's why they call them a wild raisin, right? They look kind of raisiny. They're nothing fancy. They have a big pit in them though. Actually, this one's really bitter. I think the taste, these are one of the ones where the taste changes from shrub to shrub, so you kind of taste test a shrub, and if they're good, then you can pick a quantity, go on to the next one, taste test it. Chokecherry trees are a bit like that too. Not a lot of good eats here right now. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6.
8 what?
Loaded.
8 what?
8 big snails.
Are you gonna eat them?
I don't know, aren't those like commercial sized snails?
I don't know anything about eating snails.
I think those are commercial sized snails.
You go like that, palm down, if I can see.
Yeah, can you see them there?
Yeah. Just keep them still. Yeah. Are you gonna eat them?
Want to give them a try?
Oh, we forgot to get the clams too.
Yeah, we don't need them, right? This would be more like, do you want to try them? Pretty rich.
Alright, give it a go.
Take that blueberry out of there.
Those look delicious, I think.
So we're going to try and set a rig for some bullhead catfish. It wasn't something that I planned on doing, but I have these pickerel rigs. So we've got a sinker on the bottom, and then it's kind of like a spreader. We'll bait one hook with a snail and one with a worm. And then
So, for dinner, we are going to have a delectable feast consisting of 1 to 2 year old. I'm losing my mind. I'm so hungry. 1 to 2 days old pike.
Yeah,
pretty much, right?
and a couple perch.
Yeah. So we will heat those up on the grill because they're already cooked. We just want to get the bacteria off them if they've been growing a little bit during the day, which they probably have.
So we're gonna eat those up. They're not anybody's favorite berry, but they're abundant. They're easy to collect, and they're usually very clean. So you don't get a lot of rotten ones or buggy ones.
Choke cherries, which everybody's sick of. We may have a handful, I don't know.
We started with a full pot this morning, and we've only managed to kind of choke down that many choke cherries.
And then the last thing, trying to get some diversity in their diet, are these delightful looking creatures here.
20 of them.
20. Just, this is We could collect more of these, but we're not sure how they taste, and we're actually not even sure if they're toxic. You don't think they're toxic, right?
I don't think so.
So, I mean, we'll find out, I guess. They're snails.
Well, they've been purging a bit in here. There's little snail poops.
Would you like some butter with that?
Sure would.
Fried in butter?
Yeah, like some kind of a risotto.
This is like a wild edible buffet. Clearly we're winning the competition.
Okay.
Okay. So, was that poop?
Just the guts, I think.
Just the guts, okay.
I wouldn't look at it too close. You just eat it.
Yeah, you know, right. You're probably right. Do you want to see it? Can you see it?
Oh yeah. Can you see it really close?
It looks like
looks like a bird poop.
It does. It looks like a bird poop. All right. Tastes like plastic or rubber band.
Oh yeah.
Tastes like a rubber band.
Yeah, it does remind me of the last time I ate a rubber band.
Didn't you eat a rubber band before?
No.
And you never put a rubber band in your mouth?
Not in recent memory.
Yeah. Okay. It's good enough. That's probably what, calorie?
No.
Something that size?
Yeah. It's probably loaded. Fat, protein.
Yeah. It's that much meat, man.
We'll look it up. We'll have to look it up.
It's that much meat.
We'll look it up.
Fair enough. And what's that?
Milkweed.
Milkweed. What's the last thing on our menu?
Yeah. It's weird to pick it up from the pan and have the camera follow it all the way up to my mouth.
Well, I think I missed it. I tried my best, but...
I'll do it again. Tastes good. Not as good as on day 1, when they were our first vegetable. Or day 2, because we didn't have any vegetables on day 1.
Yep, I got it all
the way
in. Beautiful. And then dessert, we have bunch berries.
Yeah.
We've been ending our days with dessert.
Yeah.
Some kind of berry-like thing. Oh, all the baits were gone. So we're morning, second last day. In order to go our 4 days, we go till tomorrow at 2. I woke up pretty early this morning, hungry again. I went to bed on a full stomach, full of fish. Berries, much as I could eat. I actually didn't finish them. And those milkweed pods. And it's not enough food. I ate as much fish as I could eat too. Didn't last me the night. I have a decision to make, really. I could continue to do this experiment, which is obviously failing as per the scale. I'm not sure I thought it would go this way. I thought we could, get to about 1/3 of a pound of weight loss per day. I had no intentions of losing 5 pounds of body weight. So I can kind of feel that I'm at my critical level now. I started with about 12% body fat. The week coming into this, as I knew it was more certain it was going to happen, I started eating quite a bit more food, so I got up into from the 10, possibly 11% range to the 13% range. So I came in at about, say, 12 or 13 as sort of my baseline from 15 or 16 when I started doing my fast. And I'm at the point where I don't know if I want to put my body through it for the result I know is almost certain at this point, which is going to be weight loss, not a weight gain. We're probably not going to fish today. So when I was in my tent not sleeping, and I woke up with my hunger pain, but we thought with modern technology and concentrating on fishing with a canoe with a rod and lures, we could get ahead of it. And all we've managed to do is add enough bulk to the point where we can't consume it. And even when we got ahead of it, we just couldn't stuff it in ourselves quick enough. You can do this pinch test yourself. If it's below about 10 millimeters, you're below 10% body fat, or around 10% body fat. So you can see there's not much there. And then you do your chest measurement, not much. You pinch there. That's hard to say, but I'd say it's maybe 8 centimeters, 7 centimeters. And then see, belly measurement, both the same. So I'm a lean athlete. So if you want to lose weight, take on the wilderness living challenge. Try not to, and you still probably will. So that's the last of our pike reserves. So our breakfast is pretty much just like our dinner, except we ran out of milkweed. We have some bunch berries. Jeremy has his coffee cheat.
This is day 4, so we had intended to be in the berry patch all day yesterday, and today's the day that we're gonna get there. So it's kind of a day excursion for us, kind of like going out fishing for the day, but by land. So we're packing a bag with some supplies. These are empty pots for picking berries, and a bowl. I brought a bathing suit and some clean underwear because I'm going to have a nice swim in a lake over that way, and some soap even. These are just first aid supplies and emergency items, and some water. And we're going to try and eat our choke cherries on the hike. We have 2 kilometers to eat 2 pounds of choke cherries if we can, and replace them all with blueberries. And Chris has got his breakfast fish that he couldn't finish, so yeah, that's going to be his lunch.
That's the interesting part, is I can't actually physically eat the fish, so. My body likes them.
Yeah.
It could just be filler, right?
Yep. Well, you can eat these on the way back, right?
Yep. So I just mauled a pin cherry tree just off camera, and I got a sugar high now. So I'm gonna find another pin cherry. We're gonna collect some of those. We cannot do the choke cherries, they're just not worth it. And pin cherries have a big pit in them. And I'm just mashing them around my mouth, making sure not to crunch the seed because I'm poisoning them. Jared's gonna show what a pin cherry looks like, but I'll do another cutaway when we get a better tree and do the same. Tell me if you there's sugar in there. After I got through, now my head's buzzing. Now I feel good now. Jared's a much more of an experienced picker, and he did pick a little bit longer, but you're about the same. You got a little bit more. Mine are dirty. I picked dirty, so
I picked clean.
Yeah, a little bit more knighted. It's very bear-like to maul a tree.
What's that?
Very bear-like.
Oh, you didn't leave too many on there.
I did not leave too many on there.
No.
I bent it over like a bear.
Oh. And it was pretty satisfying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You getting a sugar rush still?
Nope.
No, you're over it?
Yep.
You're gonna sugar crash soon?
Maybe.
Just boom. Slumber like a bear.
We're definitely going to collect a pile of pin cherries because I can eat more of those than choke cherry.
You're gonna poop like a bear probably tomorrow.
Absolutely.
With all these berries.
That's not a bad thing.
No.
Do you have a technique there, Jared, with blueberry picking?
I think like when my fingers are picking a berry, my eyes are moving to the next berry. And it's handy if you can have two hands because one hand can move the shrub around and expose. And you're kind of, I don't know, you're not squeezing them too hard, but you want to pull them off of their stems. It's nice if they're stemless. I actually don't care. If they're into pancakes or something and there's stems, I don't notice when I'm eating them. So I don't worry about stems. But when they're ripe, they tend to come off the plant without their stems. And I try not to get heartbroken and chase down the ones that fall onto the ground because you're just kind of wasting your time if you do that. Okay, ready to move to a new patch. Almost.
You're still in my frame. You leave my frame and then I can turn the record off.
Oh, okay.
And complete the thing.
All right, away I go.
That's an hour's work. That's awesome. You can eat the whole thing on camera?
Yeah. If anybody want to watch for 4 minutes.
Hour and 20. That's the results. Piles of pin cherries.
And not piles of blueberries, but some.
Yeah, well, we picked both at the same time. And then Jared picked those by himself before. There's probably
4, 5?
Yeah, I'd say 4 or 5. I'd say 5.
Yeah.
5 was my guess. There's a good 5 pounds of berries there, but you know, most of it's pit, so which you can't eat.
So I almost was finished eating the bowl. I'm full already, but I just wanted to pack these in to me for the sake of knowing the full volume that I ate. Now I'm going to start from scratch. Fill another container.
I'll show my bowl.
Yeah, Woodbeard. He still got another meal in here. He ate about half.
Throw that in your pot and see how much. I must have picked more.
Just under half.
You think I picked more than you did?
I don't know.
Just dirty, right?
It's probably 10% bunch berries, 20% leaves.
That's our fish. Last piece.
It's pretty good.
I'm still eating the fish. I literally can't swallow it. It's like I'm hungry, but I can't swallow it. So Jerry says we don't need more fish because we can't eat more fish. But that's all we got.
So these same ones with all the wormholes, right? Try see what's in them.
So it's either going to be food or bait.
Well, I don't know if any of them are good.
There's a worm in there, no?
Well, I think it might have gone. So actually, I don't know if you saw a nut meat on one of the other ones, but it's just white like that.
Yeah, so that one's edible.
Well, this one in particular has been, oh, there's the worm. Just a tiny little white one. You see his orangish head there right by the tip of the pliers?
Yeah, I do, but here, I can see it there. Just give me a second if you hold steady.
Yeah.
So is that usually bigger than that, or?
Well, I saw a really big one the other day. As big as this whole nut meat.
Like, sure, these nuts are edible, right?
Yep.
But try to find one before every other animal in the forest finds it and ruins it on you.
I don't know if we'll want to bother. There's only one, right? We have to carry it all the way back to our fishing spot.
Well, you could eat it.
The worm?
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's another one big enough to fish with. They look just like the ones you get in acorns. I'll eat this nut meat. It's only got a little bit of worm dirt on it. There, now it's got no worm dirt on it. Crunchy and tasty. Your turn. Catch a perch with that, eh?
For
They're a little bit small, but
for sure you could catch it.
Three of them.
Sure, you could fry them up and eat them too.
Yep.
The choke cherries are from before. We didn't pick any more because we just can't eat them. They're not palatable enough.
Almost a kilogram of blueberries here, and then half a kilo of mixed bunchberries blueberries.
But look at that lobster I got.
Oh, I didn't see him in there. Oh, on top. That's huge, eh?
Yeah. Oh, he's gonna let go. I got this much, which may not be enough, but
Well, he only had the last couple hours.
yeah, because we're gonna catch a couple hours of pike in a couple hours.
Yep.
The trick to eating pin cherries is chew lightly, then keep your head forward so you don't swallow the seeds, suck the juice back, and when you get to the end, near the end, and take your tongue and smash it on the roof of your mouth and do the same thing and suck back, but keep your head forward or you'll swallow seeds. And keep doing that until there's all seeds and no juice or mush. And if you're lucky, you have someone paddle for you. So one pike in the net just now, and then we got another little one here. Jerry's having fun with his bird's nest.
Yep. So much fun.
Good times. That's a decent pike.
We could have a big mollusk breakfast, eh? We could have snails and clams.
Yeah.
Pike, 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 and pike.
It's very, very diverse.
How many of those did I catch?
None.
None. Good thing I'm pulling my weight in clams then, eh?
That's right. Fill up a pail with water. I'm not going to show you this whole thing, but you fill up a pail of water and then you rinse them off pretty good and then dump them in, and then they're going to open and close, you know, overnight, or as long as you can afford to leave them there. And hopefully a lot of the dirt that would ordinarily get into your food ends up on the bottom of here. So pike, skin on, pin cherries full of seeds,
Skin on.
skin on, bunchberries and blueberries mix, choke cherries, straight blueberries my pick, straight blueberries Jeremy pick, nice and clean, no leaves, and then another liter. So we have 1 liter for me, 1 liter for Jer, another liter for Jer, or not a liter, but 500 or something like that. Liter or so of mixed up choke cherries that you can't eat because they're disgusting, and 5 pounds of pin cherries, and a pike. There you go. So it's a berries and pike meal. We are still missing our carbohydrates.
One more back strap there. All right, so we have our choke cherries here that we're not able to eat in quantity. I tried to eat a bunch of them this afternoon and I couldn't, even by rinsing my mouth out with pin cherries in between, I just couldn't eat any more of them. So we're gonna try and cook them down into something a little more palatable. So we'll see if the bitterness leaves and if the sugars kind of come out.
So after we do this, we're going to pit it and then add the equivalent amount of sugar to it, right?
Yeah.
And make a jam?
Yeah.
Or a syrup? And we're going to put that on our fish, right?
We could have if we'd brought the right stuff.
Maple syrup? You collected maple syrup. Tell me you collected maple syrup in the spring and you kept it all this time, right?
I did, yeah. I've got all kinds of maple sugar.
You've been out here since spring?
Well, not here. I do have maple syrup that I made, that my students made.
Well, it doesn't count for this challenge.
No?
It's only what you collect while you're here.
Only while we're here, eh?
The nightly ritual. The only thing that's different is Jerry's on the left and I'm on the right. Same old pike. Cheers.
Cheers.
The pike.
Yeah. I think I'm growing pretty fond of pike.
Come on, I'm going crazy. I want to say expletive, but I'm not going to.
Looks good, eh?
It smells good. What are you going to do with it? Eat it?
It cools down enough, yeah. Give it a little taste test. It's like a whole other animal. You should try that out. You don't have your spoon handy, eh?
It's somewhere. Is it better?
Tastes more like a dessert than a trial.
It's so sweet.
It's still got a bit of the bitter. There's that mouse again, but it doesn't have the same like puckering power.
Trying to find a way to get the pits out. Oh, I was thinking about a shirt, but I don't know if I want to sacrifice a shirt. My verdict about the choke cherries that are cooked is that it's not good. Good once you start, but then when you get to the skins, it's just bitter and sour again. Thankfully, the pin cherries are still edible. It's hard to get the volume. So we get dessert today. I have a liter of blueberries, and as mentioned earlier, I'm going to not eat all of them in case I wake up in the middle of the night, as I have been doing almost every single night, with a fire burning in my belly. And if I do, I'll eat a bunch of blueberries, and hopefully that's going to put me back to sleep. I get this all ready, and then I'll have a little container like that, and I'll just chuck that in the tent with me, and then I can down that and go back to bed, hopefully.
Oh.
Morning, day 5.
Yep. Yeah, it is. How you feel?
Better than day 4.
Yeah.
But still woke up hungry, ate my berries. The mouse gave me problems all night.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't just that there was a mouse around the tent, it was under my tent.
Oh, you should have been able to deal with that then.
Well, I did.
Oh. And have you got the evidence to?
Well, I don't know if I hit it, but
Oh, okay.
it came awfully close.
Yeah. I
taught it a lesson for an hour at a time, and then I think it just gave up after that.
Maybe it was a different mouse each time.
No, it was the same one. It was. I could see it outside the tent. I watched it messing around. So.
Then the further I reeled it in, the less weight there was. And then in the end, I had this guy. And the thing about bullheads is that they don't die. Stripped. Huh. I think this guy...
No bait. All gone.
What I find weird is their little eyes don't look very fishy.
He's just cut around the
head, but not deep. And then what I'm trying to do is just get enough skin to get a grip on it, and then Woodbeard's gonna grab him by the lip.
What if we go right through the head?
Okay.
We're improvising here, folks.
Yep.
Snail's still purging. We've changed the water out 3 times on that. Yep, the pike's ready. Delicious. I think I need to drink some more water first.
Yeah. 1, 2. All the big ones, eh? 3, 4.
And how long do we boil those for?
I don't know, we do them for 5 minutes on Puddle Lake. Take our choke cherries off.
It's such a big piece of meat too, but maybe it'll be better to eat.
Yeah, there's well, their rib bones come straight out and then straight down, so you take these 2 big logs off, and then you take the side fillets off, and then you're just left with the rib cage, I think. That's my recollection.
Nice.
And we've greased the grill up with a little bit of butter, so we'll just lay that right on there.
Butter and salt?
Yeah.
Salted butter.
Yeah, yeah. Wouldn't that be nice? 2 o'clock, man.
2 o'clock.
I'm gonna get...
How much we got left?
How much butter?
How much time?
How much time?
Yeah.
I was gonna say all of it. All the butter. It's 9:30.
What a ways to go.
4.5 hours.
We're gonna go for a nap for 4.5 hours?
No, we're gonna go fishing. Maybe try call that moose.
Yeah, that'd be alright.
Oh. Oh.
Keep doing it.
Oh.
Want me to be the cow?
Oh. No, it's getting a little weird now.
Get the rifle out. Oh yeah, we got a snail pot. I forgot the snails. What's in the other pot there?
Choke cherries.
Choke cherries.
So if you don't know how to catch a crayfish, that big tail at the back, that's called the telson, at the end where it fans, and they'll scoop it under their body really fast and shoot themselves backwards. And they'll pinch you. I don't know if they pinch hard, because I've never been pinched, but people are scared of it. So the trick is to grab them by the back of the thorax where they can't reach you. To cook it, just drop it in boiling water. It's a little bit choke cherry-ish still, but it's...
Does it make you pucker?
A little bit. Like if you were going to pour that all over a venison steak or pancakes, I'd say yes. If you're going to chug that 1/3 of a cup, I'd say no.
No.
So maybe more as a condiment right now.
It's still just a mouthful of lean protein though.
Softer texture.
Yeah, I can tolerate that a little bit better now than the dry pike. But the dry pike's from yesterday, so that's like leftover pike. This is fresh fish. And the pike is pretty decent fresh. Animal fat. Need some animal fat. Everybody likes a little bit of clam. Even when you're in the bush.
So these are these big, long spiral snails that were... Yesterday was the first time that I've eaten them.
We don't know what species they are. We don't really know anything about them, do we?
No, not really.
They were just found in abundance on the shore.
Yep.
And then we'll do the same thing with those.
I'm going to turn it sideways and sideways, and then pull it out. So there's a little bit of the gut system, and it's digested algae or whatever it's been eating. Pike guts maybe. Carapace on the back. And when I get most of halfway, I should just be able to sideways work out the meat. Snail extraction tool on this tool. So we're just pulling them out. I don't know.
Cheers.
Cheers.
To bush.
I might not chew. This might just go down as it is. But
To bush clam.
no, I'll chew. It's very watery and chewy.
It's alright. Tastes like an organ. Like I might imagine an organ tasting.
The texture.
So right behind me we have some wild raisin right here. And some of the berries are ripening. So I grabbed a handful before and I've never tried them. It's a little purple berry. Apparently has a pretty big pit in it. I wanted to give it a try so I have a reference of what it tastes like, and I can tell you guys what it tastes like too. It's good.
Kind of like a mushy grape in some ways.
Yeah.
You often find them in enormous quantity. Just
Yeah.
piles of them.
They're all over the place in here. Another huge, massive bush over here as well. So, time?
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock.
Day 5. We have an hour left.
We have an hour left, and we decided we were going to spend that hour preparing a feast, a celebratory feast to check out.
2 hours of fishing.
Look at that. There's so much lean protein there, we could definitely starve to death for another week. No, we're done. Like time's run out. We only had the 5 days.
Yep, we have commitments.
And I thought I would check out by day 4, was it?
Yeah.
I was really feeling like I had to get some extra calories in me. I still do. Okay, day what?
5. 120 hours in.
Day 5. And your weigh-in was 193.8. Does that sound familiar?
Yep.
So if we've lost weight, we lose. Okay, with enough delay, you predict 185. You started 193.8, and your weigh out is on day 5
184.0.
So you, my friend, lost, if I'm doing my math correctly,
9 pounds, 0.8.
yeah, that's what I wrote out. You lost a staggering
Almost 2 pounds a day.
2 pounds per day.
Yeah.
So all that work we're doing might be amusing and fun,
Yeah.
but we're just throwing them out the window.
Yeah.
We're dying.
We're not getting our calories back.
Yeah, we can't at this rate. At the rate that we're going, we're dying. Basically, it's
Yeah.
just very slowly.
Yeah.
I think I lost weight. I think I probably lost similar to you. Maybe 1.5 pounds a day, I'll guess.
So you think you're below 130?
Yes?
Like a record low.
A record low for me. Yeah, I mean, look at me. I'm
following your fast.
And my shirt's in my pocket because I weighed in with my shirt. I just want to show, like, I've got no body fat left. Alright, so...
Oh, no! Oh! You want to say it?
129.4.
So you lost 6.8 and another 0.6, so 7.4 pounds. What was that? I had a pine beetle on me.
So so about 145, 1.5.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my rate of weight loss was lower than yours.
Yeah.
But obviously my size is smaller than yours, so.
Yeah.
We have to go back to modern civilization to live. We're gonna die. You wanna question the results, or are you fine?
No, I'm fine.
You're in agreement with the results?
Yep. That pine beetle's heading for your tenders.
Will it bite me?
On your skin it might. Yeah.
We caught and consumed 19 pike between the both of us. We ate piles of berries, clams, snails, and crayfish. Yet, we lost 2 pounds per day and 1.5 pounds per day respectively. Together, in just 5 days, we lost a staggering combined total of 17.5 pounds of body weight. As a weight loss challenge, we were both highly successful, but the wilderness living challenge has a polar opposite objective. I went from an estimated body fat percent of about 12 to 13 to a final body fat of around 9%. That's just 4% from being at a critical level, which is 5. So another drop of 6.5 pounds would have put me at high risk of severe health repercussions. Pushing our trend line forward says that this would have occurred in only about 4 more days. That's an amazing realization, to say the least. It really puts into context the importance of body fat in survival and overall well-being. While we consider a low body fat to be healthy or athletic, it puts the body at risk from famine. Inside of a couple of weeks, someone in the athletic range of body fat at around 12 to 15% would be in dire straits. One could double that estimate for the 25% range. The obvious logical assumption is that a person who is overweight is actually in the best respective shape for enduring famine or a modern survival challenge, as they have the most energy in reserve. Digesting this information helps us understand why I was suffering so profusely, and why Jeremy, despite being on the same trajectory, still managed to avoid hunger pains. His body fat was buffering how he felt about missing food. While my body was screaming code red crisis, Jeremy's body was alerting him at a dull amber. While he was essentially content, my body needed high-calorie food fast. As we weighed out, it was interesting to track our body mass moving forward during recovery. Overnight, and with 2 solid meals and many snacks in between, I had bulked up 4.2 pounds, and Jeremy, being careful not to overeat, added 2.2 pounds. By my 9th day, or 4 days post-weigh out, I was back to my original start weight of around 137 pounds, thus regaining the 7.4 pounds I had lost. This further proves the direct correlation between eating foods and body mass. Should we be able to find foods exceeding our daily requirements, as we did post-challenge, adding body mass is merely mathematics. This is what makes the Wilderness Living Challenge, as defined by body weight differential, a great way to measure success or failure. So how did we fare overall? We did terribly. In fact, we did as bad as Sam Larson, Season 1 runner-up of Alone on History Channel, whom I matched at around 1.5 pounds per day weight loss. Jeremy exceeded all the known weight loss values for the contestants of Alone at 2 pounds per day. The best long-term performer that I know of for Alone was Nicole Appelian. She lost just 0.38 pounds per day. Other survival experiments, such as Naked and Afraid XL, indicate similar fates. This particular show runs for 40 days total and features men and women with little modern gear with the sole purpose of outlasting the clock. The 2 women which endured the full 40 days of Season 2 lost 33 and 39 pounds. The 2 men lost 40 and 48 pounds. Did they fail their challenge? No, they didn't. They met their objective, which was to endure, to survive, to not die and to outlast an arbitrary clock that was set to 40 days. But their dramatic weight loss is a clue to what they actually achieved. They survived a long fast. While they did eat food, they didn't eat nearly enough to replace the calories they burned. They did a lot of things, but those things didn't provide a caloric return. while what they did carried them to the final days of their challenge. Much like us, they didn't come out ahead or equal to where they went in. If this were to continue forward, starvation would eventually be their fate, as it would be ours. The point is that while modern people could go back into nature and last a month or perhaps 2, we have forgotten how to live in the wilderness indefinitely. What we do know is how to use our modern body weight, our fat stores, and muscles as a food store and consume it through fasting. There's nothing special or skillful about this. In fact, any person with excess body weight and willpower can do it. Jeremy's fitness monitor recorded daily caloric consumption of 4,162 calories. The week before our challenge, he burned just 3,436 calories per day on average. This tells us that he did more work on average during the Wilderness Living Challenge, but was this work productive? Interestingly, the lowest level of activity at 3,363 calories was recorded on the day we traveled from our first location to our second location by vehicle. We saved ourselves many calories on this modern migration, but we also saved energy by being idle, sitting in a car. It sure helps illustrate the reason that modern people carry so many extra pounds and half the population is considered obese. If everyone had to work as hard as we did on an average day of our challenge for our food, we'd all be quite thin. Most of us quite a lot worse than that. Further to this point, we know that 3,500 calories equates to about 1 pound of body mass. That is, should a person consume 3,500 calories more than they burn in a period of time, they will gain 1 pound. In contrast, if they burn 3,500 calories more than they consume, they will lose 1 pound. The fitness monitor, coupled with our understanding of physiology, says that it's impossible for us to have burned 1.5 and 2 pounds of fat or muscle per day, respectively, during our challenge. One of the first things to go during fasting is water. However, overall body mass is still a reliable clue to health for the Wilderness Living Challenge, because under healthy conditions with sufficient food resources, the body is able to carry the water it needs to function properly. For all we did, all we ate, every ounce of effort exerted, we lost even more. Good calories tossed out after bad calories. Each one burned could not attract its equivalent back, and so we slowly spiraled backwards. The reality is that our fate at this rate was death. As the studies prove, weight loss of 0.5 to 3/4 of a pound per day is normal for a total fast that includes nothing but water and minimal ambulatory activity. At a rate of 1.5 pounds and 2 pounds per day respectively, we did worse than doing nothing at all. Sure puts what we did into perspective. Some may criticize our use of modern tools, fishing rods, metal lures and traps, a canoe. But while they certainly provided an advantage over primitive tools, they still illustrate a salient point. If we can't recover our calories by using these crutches, how badly would we have fared without them? Surely much, much worse. We really have forgotten how to live in the wilderness, to recover calories consumed, and to live indefinitely in nature. Nature did not forgive us for our ignorance, and in just a short period of time, we were punished for this. Perhaps in the future, we will be able to solve the riddle and use our natural resources in a way that indefinitely meets the conditions for living in the wilderness, to come out healthier or as healthy as we went in.
This is how we should do up our mussels that we catch next time. Just in
We
oil.
should put our
Smoke
mussels
them
in a crap load of oil.
Yeah, and smoke them.
So as part of a failure to the Wilderness Living Challenge, if you won, you don't deserve to get an exit meal. Maybe you do, I don't know.
We wouldn't want to. You wouldn't need one.
You wouldn't need one, but we need it, obviously. So we got rice.
We made a lot of rice, eh?
Modern rice. That's two cups or a cup. Oh,
There must be more than two.
My mouth is watering.
For rice or oysters?
Well, the rice actually.
Yeah.
The odor of the rice just shot right up. And I want to say, thanks for joining me, Jeremy.
Anytime.
Anytime.
That's fine.
Jeremy has no hesitation about going again.
Nope.
I have my reservations, but I think that if I recover reasonably well, I'll probably try it again.